Joe, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
This is Innovative Minds. Innovative Minds, we're trying to look at people who have crafted something out of themselves, starting from zero and doing something that is meaningful to society. And when we look around, we find that you've been able to do something significant, not only in Uganda, but globally. So we're really, really happy to have you here. I'll let you introduce yourself. If I introduce you, maybe I would not bring the whole story. Certainly, I would keep some titles to myself.
Man, first of all, Happy New Year.
Thank you very much.
I am honored to be here.
Sure.
Innovative Minds. You're very, very innovative.
Yeah, thank you.
I admire you. Thank you for supporting the Joe Malika brand.
Yeah, sure.
So folks that are watching, my name is Joe Malika, fashion design extraordinaire from Massachusetts. I was born in Kampala, so son of the land, never went to design school. So my grandmother is my design school. And I repetitively say this because it's, a lot of folks that are into fashion, they have a fashion background. I would say I have a fashion background. Grandmother's a tailor. But anyways, I live in Massachusetts. I come back and forth to Kampala. I was named the best fashion designer in Massachusetts. And the reason I say that because it is extremely hard for me to get those honors. So shout out to the Boston Magazine for giving me those honors. I don't take that very light, and it comes from it does not come from an arrogant perspective. It comes from from a humble perspective because.
So the Boston Magazine named you the best fashion designer in Massachusetts.
Yes, Boston Magazine named me the best fashion designer.
That's 2022.
Correct. And prior to that, 2019, I was named the most stylish Bostonian.
Okay.
So, I mean, there's a lot of folks that dress up. I like to dress up. I mean, right now, just two-piece Joe Malika, but I like to dress up. I mean, sometimes you feel like you're putting on something simple, but to folks out there, it is meaningful. So
the best fashion designer in Massachusetts learned the art from the grandmother.
That is
Never
correct.
went to the fashion school.
Never went to design school. So shout out to that young lady in Kabalagala called Jaja Anna Sonko.
Jaja Anna Sonko.
So put some respect on that name. So we're gonna give you your flowers, Jaja, because of that young lady the Joe Malika brand was brought. And I wanna, I just wanna father the legacy of my grandmother, make sure I put the fashion the fashion out there as far as I can to the best of my knowledge. So
Yeah, Joe. When I asked you to speak to us on a program, you said yes on word go. But some people look at you and they're like, it's not even easy to approach this guy. Why is it so easy to speak to you? Why is it so easy to approach you and to speak to you? How do you do it?
I mean, we're all human.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody is superior to nobody. You find people on the streets of Kampala, you treat them the same way. If you have some, if you're fortunate enough if you have some money on you, maybe these kids haven't had lunch. If you have some money, but people will like, smack him. Don't let him get close to you. So I look at everybody as equal.
Yeah.
You're not superior to me, I'm not superior to you. We're all equal. So
really, once again, I'm really, really honored that you accepted that invitation. I really want to delve into the real core of this discussion. How is it like for an African born in Uganda who goes to US, becomes the best fashion designer? Because I'm saying this with all respect, because you go out, you start something, you work. Somebody looks at the result, you're doing well, hey, is in the magazine. But somebody who is watching this wants to understand the effort, the amount of work you put in this to be who you are.
Honestly, myself, I would ask myself, there's a lot of designers.
Yeah.
Massachusetts is not small. Boston itself is not small.
Sure.
So for me to get those honors is very humbling. And I think it starts with the person themselves. It is extremely hard. But just, getting started is easy. But staying consistent from January to December, it is extremely hard. And but also, you want to make sure you put the best work out possible that will represent you, me as Joel Malika. But sometimes I just do stuff. I mean, like honestly, people will reach out to me and they'll tell me, you don't know how big the name Joel Malika is or how big your name is.
Yeah.
And I'll never get that because I take myself, the same person, everyday person. But some people will be like, because I've seen some folks that will come up to me and talking to me, and I'm not just saying this. It's happened a couple of times, and people will come straight to talk to me, and they're nervous. I don't know why. And then you'll be like, why you ask why are you nervous? They're like, you don't know who you are.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
And probably they don't understand that you're one very easy person to speak to, warm and charming. And of course, I've seen a lot of Kampala ladies liking to be around you.
There are not just ladies. I like to be around people. I mean, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Ladies love clothes.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So they love clothes, and maybe they're gonna become clients of mine. Like you said, some people call me like, Joe, as big as you are, why are you sitting on a scooter?
Yeah.
Kampala is very busy. It's a busy town. So for me to sit on a scooter, there's certain things that you gotta say family. You wanna jump on a scooter to get you from A to Z. It's the fastest way possible. Unfortunately, recently, because people have told me numerous times, one time, that scooter is gonna knock you down.
Yeah.
And it did happen. I got hit by a car off the scooter.
Sorry.
But I mean, it is what it is.
This is our city. We survive in it every single day, and we don't die.
So for speaking of death, I mean, for me personally, if you're gonna die, it's probably that time.
I want to go back to Boston. I know for sure you have rubbed shoulders with the prime of that area, the prime of US. The celebrities in the music industry, the celebrities in the arts industry. Are you comfortable to mention some of those that you have designed for?
We've designed for quite a number of guys.
Yeah, sure.
So some of them I might forget. But recently,
Some 2 names or 3.
Rotimi is one of my guys.
Yeah.
King Qualms. Those are some of the guys, because these are the guys I personally work with.
Yeah, sure.
So you're always comfortable, putting names out there.
Yeah.
But I think it's been quite we've been in this business for quite some time. So some people you forget. Yeah.
Okay. I think somehow I saw you with PDD or Mario.
Actually, Omarion was supposed to be here at the very first fashion show that I was supposed to stage in Kampala. But for whatever reasons, it never happened. But it'll happen at some point.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm still haven't done a show in Kampala, because numerous times I've gotten the question, when is Joe Malika doing a fashion show in Uganda? I'm sure you probably had a question for me.
I was going to ask you about that, because there is a particular show that you did in the US that really, really fascinated me. A show about people who have amputated legs. I don't know the title that it was. Certainly you will tell us about that.
Yes. So that particular show, it was inspired by a young lady from Colombia. So shout out to Tatiana. She reached out to me on Instagram and said she wanted to work into my show. This was in 2022. And I just like anybody else, you would go on Instagram and check her out, whatever. This young lady was born with one leg.
Yeah, sure.
And for me, the Joe Malika brand has been all about giving back and giving people chances.
Yeah.
I could not say no to this young lady. So fast forward, she came. This show is done every December. She was the first amputated lady to work in my fashion show, 2022. So when that show happened, this girl was memorable. Other amputees reached out that they wanted to do the same thing because they had never done this before. It happened to be the 10-year anniversary of the Boston Marathon bombing. So 10 years ago, the city of Boston was attacked at the finish line. And folks, that's a different story. I don't want to get into that. But there was folks that lost their lives, folks that lost limbs. So last year, 2023, after folks had seen this, this young lady in the fashion show, they asked me if they could also do the same thing. Of course, that is something I'd never say no to.
Yeah, sure.
I did partner up with Liz Norton, who's the founder of a Leg Forever Foundation. So a Leg Forever Foundation it was started by Liz Norton just to help folks with no limbs to pay for prosthetics.
Yeah.
These legs are extremely expensive
I can imagine.
to do that. Just one leg, and they have to, because they grow, bodies change, it has to match. So she started this foundation. I did partner up with her. The money that we was raising from the fashion show, it was going to a Leg Forever. So just to get back to that, so this particular show has never been done anywhere in the world of fashion.
And thank you for doing it.
Yeah. Thank you so very much. Yeah. So anyways, myself, I didn't know what to expect because, I don't know how fast these individuals are going to walk. So for the very first time, I was the only designer in this particular fashion show.
Yeah.
So we got, great feedback from the shop. The show was done, got like a lot of media coverage. It was very humbling to me to spend time with these individuals and just find out how they spend their day. It was also just another way to give back to the city that has given me so much, because the city of Boston has done so many things for me as Joe Malika, not just Joe Malika, because a lot of my clients are from Boston.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So for me, it was my way of giving back.
What I like about giving is that when you give, sometimes it comes back to you. I can imagine there was a lot of media attention, there was a lot of press coverage, and this gives your brand mileage as well.
Absolutely.
Yes. I also learned that you're doing some charity works for cancer.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So prior to A Leg Forever, this particular show, Excessive Fashion, and some other shows called Fashion Rush Hour. So these shows have always been giving back to cancer, Dana Farber and the Jimmy Fund. So because cancer is big, we're still trying to find a cure for cancer. Cancer has robbed us to the folks that we love. I lost family to cancer. So every time when I did this fashion show, it was just towards cancer. And just basically, like I mentioned, is my way of giving back. Because that's the only way I can give back to the city that has held me and made me who I am today.
Absolutely. When you talk about cancer, it really, really touches my heart. My mom has multiple myeloma. That is the cancer that attacks the bones. And she's been fighting that since 2017.
Right.
We admitted her on the 4th of January 2017, and she left hospital on the 23rd of December 2017.
Right.
She had lungs. So anybody who's doing work that touches cancer is really, really close to my heart. And thank you for doing that. Or maybe, Joe, there's something special about you. I work in an industry where we are facilitating people to make payments around the world. And all we are looking for mostly is how can we mobilize the diaspora to come back and invest back in their country, because we feel they owe that responsibility. In technology, we call it technology transfer. If you have people, you can send them into another country. They can learn their technology. They can learn how things are done. And then those good things they have learned, they can bring them back home. And for you, you didn't stop only in Boston, but you came up and set up a store. I think it's on Shoutouts.
Correct.
Okay. So I want to talk about how can we, as Uganda, entice our Ugandans who are doing so well in these countries to be able to come back and invest in the country.
Before we dive into that, I just want to go back really quick on the cancer thing. So
Yes.
some of the folks, when somebody is suffering from cancer, for us, putting up shows, this is how we can fight on their behalf.
Yeah, sure.
Because sometimes, somebody's laying down in bed doing a lot of chemo, and sometimes it's very, very important to showing support through this fashion show. That's just a way of showing, like, we're with you, we're fighting with you, That's the only way we can fight for them. And to get back to what you were saying, some of the, we're exposed on a lot of things that people are not here exposed to.
Absolutely.
So I feel like it's our job to just come back and share the same knowledge as the folks in home, sharing the same knowledge. Like personally, I'll just give an example. I learned from my grandmother.
Yeah.
She just gave me a start, and a lot of things I have to self-taught myself. The fact that I'm not on ground, business has to go on in Kampala.
Absolutely.
So what I did, I passed on to that knowledge to folks that you're familiar with, AD and Claire, the folks that have run the Joe Malika brand in Kampala.
Those guys are doing very well.
So shout out to those kids. I had to sit them down and just show them some of the things they've done. And I'm sure they've learned a lot of things that I don't know. So I learned from them, they learned from me. So just sharing knowledge is, just some of the ways that we can share with folks in
These pumps were done by Eddie, so I'm a beneficiary of the design progress by John.
Correct. Yeah. So shout out to those kids.
Yeah, sure. They're doing a very good job. Where
Thank
you
you.
are, where you are, they are representing you very well.
Right.
Yeah. So how do we bring back our people in the diaspora to really, really be part of this economy? Because we need them. And to be able to duplicate some of the businesses they're doing in those countries back here.
There's a lot of programs that do that.
Yeah.
Joining different programs to these always has a lot of programs like that.
Yeah.
And I'm not like, my expertise is fashion.
Yeah, sure.
So when we get to those kind of programs, I'm personally not going to say that I'm well versed to that. So I wouldn't want to speak on something that I have no knowledge, but there's always programs for everything.
Let's talk about fashion. Of course, that's where you are expertise. I want to understand the fashion industry in Uganda. We have people that go around and pick the collections, as you see, collection, and then the designers. What's the difference?
So I think also the word designer, the word because these folks that have been labeled as designers in Kampala.
Yeah.
And so if I go out to the store or like a boutique and pick up pieces and put them on you, I'm a stylist. I'm styling you.
Okay.
That's a stylist.
You're a stylist.
But I think also that has been used as a designer. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it.
So, but if I sit down, sketch, cut pattern, and stitch a suit for you that I have designed, I am a designer.
Okay.
So I am proud to call myself a fashion designer.
Is that what you add on? Extreme.
So I am not just a fashion designer, and I say this in the most humble way possible.
Yeah.
I am a fashion design extraordinaire.
Extraordinary.
Correct.
That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah. Fashion.
Extraordinary.
Yeah. And those were honors that was given me by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'll humbly carry on that title. And I say that with all pride. I am Joe Malika, fashion design extraordinaire.
Extraordinary.
Yeah.
And guys, if you find Joe in suits, they have these unique colors, yellow, orange. I mean,
So
I want to enter a place and I'm smart, but not attract attention. But you're completely different.
I mean, that's just who I am. I like bright colors.
Okay.
That's just me. That's what defines me as Joe Malika, the person.
The detail on your suits. I found a suit which had like so many stones on it. I've seen those on women commerces here in town, but I never knew that you could brand that on a suit and it looks.
And without being so arrogant, I also like to set trends.
Yeah.
That's something I've thought, personally, I've discovered as me, Joe Malika. Because sometimes you might start something and then you see other people doing it.
Yeah.
And you're just not doing. You're doing it because I feel like that's what the best thing for me to put on at a particular occasion. So I guess I'll consider myself a trendsetter.
Okay, that's very beautiful. Because somebody has to learn from somebody that something is good and they can
Correct.
associate with
Yeah.
it. Of course, you're a fashion designer extraordinary, but a businessman. And those are two different things. Because you took up your passion, you took up this art that you had, and you created business, a successful business around it. And now
So-
here,
Yeah.
the fashion industry, I can see it's young because we are even struggling to attract some international brands that we find in malls wherever we go. Are you able to, help some young man who is down there trying to, do something in this industry? Some tips on how to make it?
I mean, for anybody that knows me, I'm very, very easy to approach. So please don't be scared. You can always reach out to me. Just to echo on what you said about the business, I went to business school.
Okay.
So the business side of things just complements what I'm doing. Went to Bentley University. I studied marketing. So it certainly does complement what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like I said, never went to design school. My design school has always been my grandmother. So for young men out there, and just some words of encouragement, anybody that tells you, if you start something, it does not necessarily have to be fashion. Just please don't give up on it. It's tough, cliche as it sounds. A lot of people will say, don't ever give up. I know it's super cliche, but do not give up.
But that makes a lot of sense coming from somebody who has been doing it and has crafted it. The element of turning, there are people who get up one morning and they start it. And then 2 years down the road, things are not coming. The appreciation of fashion, for example, by the consumers. Somebody is comfortable just walking into a shop where there are suits and then puts on something that fits him and then pays and walks away. They don't have the patience. And maybe there is lack of appreciation that if I got Joe Malaika, they will do for me a suit that will sit well with me. Our craft industry,
Right.
has a bit of those issues.
So, just a quick story. One of the fast fashion shows I did was down at Boston University. So I'm doing this show, it was all from trying to impress. There was always a girl involved. Try to impress this girl or whatever. It never worked out, but that's not it.
It has to
So
be
what? I mean, I'm a young man.
Yeah.
Any young man, try to impress women.
Yeah, sure.
Women are very powerful, by the way.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's kind of irrelevant. So what happened after doing my very first fashion show at Boston University? I got paid $3,000.
Oh.
So for me, that time on, it was a lot of money. Still a lot of money today.
Yeah.
Because $3,000 at a young man, I'm like, wow. So every time I do this is the kind of bread I'm going to be getting.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So time went by, years. Me doing a fashion show, I had to dig in my pocket
Yeah, sure.
to do a fashion show. Get involved in fashion weeks around the world.
Yeah.
You have to dig in your pocket. But that time around, they asked me to do a fashion show. They have to pay me. So I'm thinking, this is how it's going to be all the time. It was never like that. So I would have given up. Several years later, I'm like, wow, you losing money. All you do, you're putting in money. So for folks, please don't give up. You're going to get a break. At one point, your time is coming. It might not be today, but certainly tomorrow is another day. So just hang in there and just do what you got to do. Do not give up. Even if somebody tells you, it could not be that somebody, it could be yourself. You'd be like, man, I'm losing way too much money.
I can authoritatively tell you that this city, there are some brands that are coming up. It's a boy of mine called Tony Sekarembe, doing Dominus Apparels.
Right.
He's budding and he's doing very well. And I'm thinking you have ambassadors coming in your footsteps. And if they can find a way to learn from you, from the knowledge you're sharing, I think this would be great for the industry.
Absolutely. It could not just be me. It could be shout out to Tony. Whatever you're doing, don't give up. And I just want to say this real quick. So for anybody, whatever you do, just know there's always somebody that's looking up to you. Anybody, whatever you're doing, you could be just on the street trying to make ends meet. There's still somebody that you're inspiring. You might not think that you're inspiring anybody, but you could be inspiring. Maybe you're inspiring, one of the richest people. You're like, listen, this kid's getting up super early in the morning to make ends meet. That's very inspiring to them. So to everybody that's watching, whatever you're doing, some of the producers of this show, they could be inspiring. Just know, not they could be. Somebody is inspired by them. But somebody be like, man, I want to be like that gentleman. Like, I want to be behind the cameras. Anything. You're like, man, I want to be doing interviews. Like, whatever you do, there's always somebody looking up to you. So just know, whenever you're giving up, you're also.
There's something I needed to ask you, but you preempted it before. I need to understand, and this will be very direct. When are we doing the fashion show in Kampala under the brand name Joe?
So that's the question that's come up to me numerous times. I think this year is definitely that time that we'll do a show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The month was still super early into the year.
Yeah.
We just got into the New Year's, so we'll figure it out, find some locations, and we'll get to it. It's definitely going to happen.
Are we seeing some guests coming with you to support you?
I've been very fortunate to have a very good support system. So wherever I go, there's folks that are always up there. I want to give a major shout out to my salon, Eva Michelle.
Yeah.
Those ladies have been with me, the entire salon, Eva Michelle. Those ladies have been with me as soon as I got started. So 2019, I was doing a fashion show here. There was the first people to purchase flights.
Yeah.
So I'm sure, to answer your question, of course, there'll be folks that are coming with me to, just to show support.
Yeah, sure.
They became like family to me. So shout out to Salon, Eva Michelle, the best salon we have in Boston.
Oh, okay. We'll be happy to have them in Kampala.
Oh, absolutely.
I'll book a spot in the front seat to make sure I don't miss a thing.
I'm gonna listen. So just know this is on camera.
Yeah.
It's being recorded. You want to make sure you have front row seats.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's public accountability there.
Yeah.
It's public accountability. So I think this is so good. There's something else I needed to talk about relating to the fashion runways that have been done here.
Right.
The designers who are trying to do this kind of work. When you come in, what value are you bringing apart from the normal things that we are saying?
Right.
Yeah, because me, it's a guy from US, the best in Boston. It must be different from what we're doing here.
So I know you're a very wise guy, but I'm also not so stupid. So if you really want to know what I'm bringing in, you just gotta be at the show.
Yeah.
Yes, it's that simple.
So that's an advert in advance.
Of course. So I'm not gonna give it away. I'm not just gonna sit over here and say, this is what I'm gonna bring in. You just gotta be at the event to figure out what we're bringing. But obviously, certainly, we don't want to be so different from the stuff that we've been doing, from the fashion rush hours and excessive fashions. So you just gotta be at the event.
Okay. Of course, it is good when you bring a product to localize it, so that the local population can find it palatable. Otherwise, if it is so extreme that we can't consume it, then it's no use to us.
Yes. Oh, by the way, speaking of shoutouts, I know this is a program now for shoutouts. I want to give a quick shout out to my friend Desiree Mohoza. She's been very, very encouraging to me. As Desiree.
Yeah.
A lot of people call her Desire, but I think I call her Desiree. So every time she's trying to find sponsors and all that stuff. And, the team here that's behind me, letting me know that whatever you do, we're behind you. Proceed. There's folks out here. And my man, Ed, he's taking me to very different venues and just let me know that whatever you do, we're behind you. So shout out to Ed Chene.
Okay. I usually tell people that I'm a salesman and I can't sell anything apart from my wife and children.
Right.
So you're sure that the marketer in you will find people that are ready and willing to support the show. behind the scenes, I know I've seen you with the best in the market, the brands, all the fashion designers, the Ugly Warriors. I've seen you with Sally, and all those are the people that have a following that will be part of that. So I think the Joe Malaika brand, that if there's anything that you mentioned that is coming in here, you already have the startup capital or the social capital that you have that will take up this.
I mean, we like I said, you just gonna have to be at the event to see whatever happens. I know you're trying so hard to poke my brain, but it's not working.
Okay, I see you're dodging. I see my producer is telling me the time is getting up, so we're trying to wrap up. So just let's try to wrap up this. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? Your last words about that can encourage somebody who's in downtown? Of course, there are many that are watching.
What are we talking? Downtown Boston?
Yeah, no, downtown Kampala.
All right, no, I'm just being a wise guy. Since you're so wise, so for the folks in downtown Kampala, I like to, when I'm dressing my videos, I always say nation's capital because Kampala, But anyways, not to get into all that. So folks, out there and you're trying to get started, please don't you ever give up, and don't let nobody, cliche as it sounds, don't let nobody tell you you cannot do it. You can certainly do it. And I also just want to thank those individuals that really stood with us the year 2023. It was not easy. For the folks that have purchased clothes, this gentleman, you being a great support of the Joe Malaika brand in Kampala. I always see you every day, you're buying clothes.
Yes.
And we just need that same support in this year 2024, because business is all about support. You know what I'm saying? So, and also try to make sure your clients are very happy, because business is about word of mouth. Whatever you're doing to a client today, they're gonna reciprocate to the next client. Just speaking of that, this young man came up at this store in Charm Towers in Kampala. By the way, for the folks are just tuning in, Joe Malaika has a brand. Joe Malaika has a location in Kampala, and we are located at Charm Towers on Kampala Road. You cannot miss it. It's closer to the post office, right?
Yeah, sure.
So we do have a location here in Uganda. So for the folks that just tuning in, and please, like I was saying, treat your client extremely well, because they are promoting you to folks. They know folks that you don't know.
Yeah.
Like this young man came in with an entourage of folks and say, listen, I get my clothes here.
Yeah.
We like to treat our clients really well, because you're going to bring more clients. If I treat you well, you're like, you know what? Screw with this kid. I'm not going back. They treated me really, really bad, because I'm not the only person that knows how to make clothes.
Yeah.
There's plenty people, but you choose to ride with the Joe Malaika brand. We certainly don't take that for granted. We certainly do appreciate that. It's really, really, really important to stay in touch with the folks, not just when you buy them, when they're buying clothes, just to interact. How did it go, if anything? And by the way, I think we are the only brand in Kampala that takes returns, because I notice here people don't do returns.
Yeah.
Once you buy something, the minute you walk out to the store, see you later.
Yeah.
You cannot return. Once you give money, it don't fit. So folks, if it does not fit, genuinely, if it don't fit, you can always return. We can make some exchanges. And if you're not happy, we can always give full refund. And I say this, I mean this, because I've been told, not just for clothes. Once you go to a store, you buy something, the minute you walk out, see you later, you're done.
Yeah.
So
that's correct. And I think that's a unique selling proposition for you and I've experienced this firsthand. They bring you something and you try it on, and it doesn't, if you need adjustment, it will be done until it is super.
And you're still not happy, but for the most part, we have now had those clients. Everybody's always happy.
Yeah.
So that's why people, repetitively come back, and, because customer service is key. And it's always important to stay in touch with other brands that will never get it. Once you buy it, see you later, buy. It's all about money. It's never about money. It's about their relationship that we build with these individuals. Like, I consider you a family right now.
Yeah, sure.
Because I'm sure I can come to your house, break some bread, sit down, relax, chill,
Or more than that.
Yeah.
So I think this is so good. So you guys who are watching, you can just follow us on social media channels, on YouTube, on Instagram, on Twitter. We also have a channel on TikTok, so that you don't miss a thing. There will be a full episode of this here, and the links are provided right below. So please be a fan of Innovative Minds, and we'll be bringing the top in the industry. Make sure they keep you updated of what you can do and what you need to do. In case things go stuck, you have this person who would pick money from his pocket, make sure he keeps the brand running until it is a successful brand and is voted the best in the industry. So I think, Joe, if this is not inspiring enough, what will inspire somebody?
I have no idea. Guys,
Yeah.
just don't quit on whatever you get started on. And it's extremely hard to stay consistency. But consistent, please stay consistent. And just remember, whatever you're doing, there is always somebody that's looking up to you in anything that you do. So just know when you quit, you're going to be quitting on that person. So folks, for more of Joe Maleka, please log onto the website, joemaleka.com, and all social media at Joe Maleka.
All right. Thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you for
And I will
having
see
me.
you around.
And we shall see you guys out here.